Hey everybody, what's going on? It's James here. Thought I'd get back on. Just got back from Scotland about 3 days ago. I was there visiting my brother and sister-in-law, and I'd show some records I got. But yeah, it was great to see my brother and sister-in-law. I don't get to see them too often these days because obviously the distance, maybe once a year, once every 2 years. Precious family time. It was really a beautiful visit, and of course, check out some shops. I went to maybe 4 shops. I was thinking the only thing that's better in life than going to a store that you've never been to before is going to stores in other countries because of the selection. You don't know what you're going to find. Obviously, you're going to see a lot of things that you don't see in the States, even reissues, things like that. So it's just, you walk in and it's, new territory, discovering new land. So it was great. Had a blast. So I just thought I'd show, what I got. I got about maybe a 10, 11 albums, something like that. And the first one I'm gonna show was the find of the trip. And this is the band. They're called Comacozer. Comacozer. Comacozer, and the name is Astra Planeta. And this is they're a Australian trio, psych space rock kind of a thing. But there's this dark, murky, kind of mythical feel to it. It feels Egyptian-ish, or I don't want to say Middle Eastern-ish, but it has these. And actually, let me turn that up a little bit so you can hear that. Check this out. Killer. I knew I'd never find this probably in a store, and I wasn't gonna pay $80 for it on Discogs. So it's Comacozer is the band. 2016 on the Headspin label out of the Netherlands. Comacozer. This is great. I love my brother and sister-in-law, but this is probably the highlight of the trip. Sorry, guys. You know how I am. Great one. Comacozer. And that was a store called Underground Solution in Edinburgh. Really cool store. I'm in there bullshitting with the guy who works there, this really lovely chap named Gavin. Very jolly, just warm, energetic, and so I'm in there looking around, and he's playing a record, and it caught my eye after a song or two, and I'm like, what is that? And it's this album here called Little Barrie and Malcolm Cato. I didn't know anything about this. He told me that it was the guitar player for this band had done the theme song to the show Better Call Saul, I think. I don't watch these TV series, these streaming services. I don't watch any of that stuff, but I know the name. And he said he did the theme song to it. But this is it has like a 60s kind of psych surf vibe to it, but very exotic and very inventive guitar playing. Lots of bite and grit to it. And there's vocals. And when I was listening to this, even before he mentioned it, I was thinking, man, this sounds kind of like if the Black Keys were better. I mean, I kind of like some of the Black Keys, but this has this. It's just great. It's probably the newest, or the first time in like 20 years that I've got a new release rock record, like a straight rock record. But it had, and the other thing too, this thing has a lot of groove to it, just a really good groove to it. Really killer. Little Barrie and Malcolm Cato. Little Barrie's the band, and Malcolm Cato is, I looked this up after I got it, and Malcolm Cato is the drummer for the band Heliocentrics. And the funny thing is, my instincts were good because when I looked this up, reading about it, this is on Dan Auerbach, in the Black Keys. This is his label. It's the Easy Eye Sound label, and this is a 2025 release. So check this one out, Little Barrie and Malcolm Cato, and the name of the album is called Electric War. But yeah, Underground Solution was a really cool store. Small, lots of interesting subsections that you're not necessarily going to find in a lot of stores in the States, little like subgenres and things, and a lot of, you know, reissues and things. They don't have like a lot of used, but a lot of reissues that I wasn't aware of or never saw or didn't know anything about. That was a really cool store. I also got this one too that I'd kind of been on my semi-radar for a long time. It's the Argentinian saxophonist Chivo Barrero, Blues for a Cosmonaut. This is from 1975, and I've never really heard this, but I know it has a reputation as being maybe like Coltrane, post-modal, spiritual. I don't really know, but I haven't listened to this yet, but I'm happy to find it. And this is on the Altercat label, reissue. Nice cardstock on that one. So I was stoked to find this. And then the last album I got at Underground Solution is this one. It's called Mark IV. It's like an Italian library album. When I saw this flipping through, there's something about it that was familiar to me, and I think I maybe heard a song or so, maybe on a Spotify playlist or something, and really good, like an Italian sound library thing. So if you're into that type of thing, check this one out. This came out in 1970, and this is on the Sonar Music Editions label. So that was a great store, like lots of interesting selections. Another store I went to is called Some Great Reward. Interesting name, small shop, and it was cool because it's also a coffee shop. So when I walked in, all the way in the back's a cash register and a guy behind the counter with coffee making equipment behind him. And I walk in, and he's almost like I was an old friend of his. He's like, "Hey, mate, you know what's going on?" And he's asking me if I want a drink, and I'm kind of deciding. And he says, "Hey, how about I make you a?" He's like, "Do you like dirty chai?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I like dirty chai." So he makes me a dirty chai in this beautiful mug, and I'm walking around, I'm flipping through. You know, me and this guy we're bullshitting here and there, talking about different musics, and so they had a lot of interesting subsections too. A lot of things that I, completely unfamiliar to me. One that I got there is this. I just went for it. This was actually a used copy. Listen to that. This is the Komakozer. This is Christian Alvear and Sergio Murayama. Didn't know anything about this, but it's just guitar and drums live in Madrid. And a duo like that kind of caught my attention. But on the back, it talks about Sergio Murayama is a Japanese man who lives in France. He's a drummer. He performs with snare, cymbal, gong, and voice. And then it talks about Christian Alvear is from Chile. And the notes say you can hear a background in classical guitar in his playing. However, the form is always very simple. At times there's continuous repetition or only for a few minimal sounds. I've listened to this once. I haven't listened to all these records yet, but I listened to this once. It almost feels like an art kind of performance. I don't know if I say it's out, but it's very improvisational. But yeah, Christian Alvear plays acoustic, and the other gentleman, Murayama, snare drum, cymbal, and voice. And there's some kind of howling too going on, but that's them there. You could see that. So I just went for this. This looked interesting. This was recorded in 2019 and got released in 2020, and it's on the Little Soul label. Don't know that one, but this is a nice one, a nice find from Some Great Reward. So another album I got there too. I just went for this too. This looked interesting. It's a Korean drummer. Her name is Sun Mi Hong, and she's Korean but based in Amsterdam. And the hype sticker says Amsterdam-based Korean drummer and composer Sun Mi Hong's quintet explores the themes of home, community, and artistic freedom. Whoa. Some heavy topics. And look at that cover, that kind of, I don't know what that symbolizes. And this is on the name of the album is called Meaning of a Nest. And it's a quintet. You have trumpet, tenor, piano, and bass, along with Sun Mi Hong on drums. I haven't listened to it yet. It's still sealed. But it just, again, it looked interesting. And I think, again, these interesting subsections they had in this store. This might have been in a section called like minimal jazz. Like, whoa, what's going on there? So I'm looking forward to breaking this out soon in the next few days. Yeah, it's just the stores are really interesting. The employees, the owners, whatever, everyone, there's certainly something about vacation euphoria where you go somewhere and everything seems amazing because it's fresh to you. And you're wondering, is it really different or just because I'm happy to be away? I don't really know. It's psychological. But there definitely seems to be, about the Scots, there's a certain jolliness to them and just so warm and friendly. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to breaking this one out. Just cool people. So that was another store I went to. And then I went to a place called Mixed Up Records, which was in Glasgow. The first two stores were in Edinburgh. And Mixed Up Records is really good. They had a lot of used, along with a lot of interesting reissues too. More used than other stores. So I got some things there, which I was really happy about. The first one was this one here, and I couldn't even understand the name of it because it's hard to tell what the even title of it. But it's a band called DJINN. That's the DJINN, DJINN, and the name of the album is Transmission. The store had their own little description on the sleeve, and it mentioned something about how it's a collaboration between members of the two Swedish bands Goat and Hills. And I've heard those names, never heard their music, but I know they're in that modern day kind of psych prog, experimental kind of camp. But something based on that, it just compelled me, and my instincts were right on this. This is incredible. It's cosmic jazz with this honking, sax, and cosmic kind of spiritual-ish jazz with some kind of prog experimental. I mean, it's in its own category, but really, really killer. I mean, my instincts were right on this one. I've listened to this once, and this is certainly going to be on repeat. DJINN, DJINN is the band, and the name of the album is Transmission. And this came out in 2021 on the Rocket label, and I think the Rocket label is from the UK. Yeah, Dave, this might be something you'd be into. DJINN is the band. And then another record I got there, this is a used jazz record. It's called Ambitus Extended. And this wouldn't have necessarily caught my eye. However, I see the name here, Joseph Skrzek. And it's a duo, Joseph Skrzek and Tomasz Zukalski. It's so Joseph is he's the keyboard player for the Polish band SBB. So that's how I recognize the name. SBB is certainly one of my favorite bands. 70s band from Poland, jazz rock, prog-ish, killer band. I love SBB. So I'm like, what's going on here? So it's just a duo of these two. Interesting album. It almost sounds like a it could be on ECM, like it almost feels like it could be like a later ECM album, but a little bit more experimental than the average ECM record. And as a matter of fact, I had some friends over last night, my friends Matt and Magda. Magda's from Poland, and I asked her about that, and showed this to her, and she said Tomasz Zukalski is very well known there. I don't know his name, but she says he's one of the greats of Polish jazz. No year on here, but I looked it up. This came out in '81, which is sometimes like a little too late for me with jazz. But you know, European jazz is something I'm always looking for more of that, and also Eastern Bloc countries is a really niche thing that I want more of. The Eastern Bloc stuff is always going to be good. So it's Ambitus Extended. Yeah, and this is on the Helicon Records label, Helocon, Helicon Records. Yeah, cool one to find. And then another record I got there, only blues record I found, and wasn't really seeing much blues. I mean, I saw some, but not a lot I really wanted or I could get. And I was stoked on this. Mississippi Fred McDowell in London, Volume 1. I think this is from '69. Haven't listened to this yet, but you know it's going to be good. Mississippi Fred McDowell in London, Volume 1. And here's the back of that. So yeah, I haven't listened to this yet. And this is on it looks like Transatlantic Records Limited. And this might be like maybe an old reissue, or maybe it's an original. Who the hell knows? I don't really know. I don't care about that kind of thing. But look at that. Stoked on that. And then the last record I got at Mixed Up Records was, again, they had really interesting subsections. They had like a British jazz section, and then they had sections for the Athens of the North label. And I like that record, or that label. And this is something that I've been hoping to find. It's Warren Hampshire, a British musician called Language of the Birds. Warren Hampshire, I know his name because he collaborates a lot with the British musician Greg Fote. And I have a number of Greg Fote albums. This is gorgeous. Pastoral, perhaps. Language of the Birds. It's on the Athens of the North label, and the hype sticker, it says file under minimal jazz, modern classical, ambient, and soundtrack. I mean, those are all 4 distinct categories, but they all kind of apply to this. There's this gentle guitar with this sort of mournful violins floating in. Really nice. There's some sax on here, a little harmonica, some wordless vocals, some string arrangements, cello, viola. Warren Hampshire, he's mainly a guitar player, but he also plays glockenspiel, pizzico violin, some tambourine. Really gorgeous record. Warren Hampshire, Language of the Birds. And again, Athens of the North label, and this is from 2021. Listen to that. Komakoser. Last place I went to is a store called Greenhouse Records. And I was looking at their website before I went, and in the About section, it describes sort of what they sell. But it also mentions that they sell, quote, radical books. Radical books, that's like right up my alley. Like, what's this about? So I go to the store, it's in this small little alley, and the place is maybe the size of a small living room, or maybe a bedroom, a decent sized bedroom. Not a lot in there, but very, I hate the term curated. I actually despise the term curated, but it's curated. It's very hand-selected, all used records, no reissues, and a lot of things that are just really obscure but interesting subsections. There was like an African section and like a ambient section. Really interesting subsections. Not a lot of records. I mean, maybe total, you know, a few hundred. And they all the records had the store had their own descriptions on it. And this first one, Henri Goudon, Retour is the name of the album. And the little description on here, it was something along the lines of Afro-Cuban experimental jazz. Like, whoa, what's going on there, right? It's all in French on the back, so I don't really know the notes say. But based on the instrumentation, there's no year on here. It's on the Le Chant du Monde label. So it just, based on the look of it, I'm thinking, you know, maybe this is like the late 70s or early 80s. I don't know. I haven't listened to this yet, so if anyone knows of this musician or this album, please comment. But I haven't listened to this yet, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, Henri Goudon. And then the last record I got at Greenhouse is this one. Again, didn't know anything about it. Now look at those shots. Dave, I know you like these kinds of shots. This is a band called Exile One, Face au Public, public performance, in English. And the store description on this said something to the effect of like reggae funk or something like that. This is on the Debs International label, and it was really cheap too, considering like what it is, because it has a split seam at the bottom, and normally I wouldn't buy that kind of thing, because I'm kind of particular about, I don't care about original pressings or anything like that, but I care about condition. But I just went for it because it was cheap and it seemed like interesting as hell. So I haven't listened to that one, so if anyone knows anything about this, please comment. Exile One is the band. And actually, I'm sorry, I did look this up. They're from Guadalupe. Yeah, look at that cover, look at these back shots, these live performances. It almost looks like it could be like, it almost, based on the pictures, it almost seems like it could be like some Afro-funk kind of a thing, or some African, you know, not high life, but I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, just those cover shots. So yeah, that's it. It was killer. There was other places I'd like to go, but I had limited time and didn't want to spend $1 million, but I came back with like a dozen albums that I'm really, really happy about. So yeah, that was my trip to Scotland. And yeah, if you have any thoughts, let me know. Appreciate you watching. Cheers, James. Take care.